What's going on, guys? We are back here again on the classic old Mac because right now we got some problems that we're facing with the computer because we actually swap them over basically. But today we're talking about they don't make them like they used to. And speaking of which, I was actually the reason why I say this is because I was thinking about it as I was writing to my sons. I was like, man, like honestly thinking about it, everything is made now with a shelf life. Before, the objective was to literally make it last a lifetime. And so, like, when it comes to mobile mechanic tools or mechanic tools and stuff like that, it's like a lifetime warranty, right? And it used to be like that with everything, even cars, right? The reason why cars went from a a five thing odometer. So it used to have five zeros. Now it has six zeros. The reason why that was because somebody was like, oh, like my car is better than everybody else's car because it lasts six figures or six digits, right? Nobody else had that. And then so everybody else did the same thing. They moved on to the six digits, which is now the common car now. And so they did that literally for to let people know that yes, you can do this. You can make this car last over 100,000 miles, and that back in the day was something that was unheard of. And now in these days and age, so like I want to say, '05, really '04 was probably the last year when they built quality vehicles, and I'll show you in different realms too. But that was like the last time they really made quality vehicles, and they realized they fucked up. They're like, "Oh shit, I made this too good. I literally made this car too good, and that's why I need to fix that problem. I need to take note of how I did it this well, and I need to make it less." And so now cars, even nowadays, it's like you drive off the lot, and 10,000 miles later, you need a transmission on a brand new car. You drive off the lot, the infotainment system doesn't work, and that costs $1,000, right? And it doesn't have to be new; it could be relatively new. It's like anything above '05 basically is fucked. And so most of the times, what I'm seeing is a lot of the issues with cars or modern cars is because they're so smart. They have all this technology. And I found something out crazy the other day. Just freaking hair. Something crazy the other day. And what that is that because cars are computers and they have all these computers, they store memory. And what does that mean? They store all the information of what has happened and gone through that car. So for the example, there's if you're a military person and you're driving this vehicle going from, all these different bases that maybe are decommissioned and don't exist apparently, and then you could see that, oh, this person is traveling here, this person's traveling there. They don't wipe the cars when somebody, has been driving it for however long they've been driving it. They don't wipe it because they don't realize that you can access that information very easily. It's literally the key that you need is the car key. And when they do auctions, what do? They sell you the car with the car keys, obviously, because if the car key isn't with it, then they can sell it, right? And so these cars are so smart now that they can store all your information. And honestly, when I heard that information, I was like, dang, I need to like go grab somebody's Rolls Royce so then I could get all their contacts and imagine the wealth of people that are in that phone, right? And so it's like, again, this shelf life, back to that. So stemming in the category of technology, right? It used to be you bought this software. Adobe used to be you buy it and that's it. You buy it one time and that's it. Nowadays, same thing with uh maybe not Blockbuster, but again, there's multiple stores where it's like it's a one-time buy. Now they gotten us on the annual subscription, the monthly subscription. And then when you don't pay that, it's gone. That's it. And so you're forced to pay it because if you don't pay it, then you lose all your work, right? It's like all these things are moving in that consumerism wave where it's like, okay. I made this too good that I can't make enough money off of it, or I can't make more money off of it, right? And so, what is the most sustainable business? The best business really to have is a business that's recurrent, a business that's making money every month. So that's why, the subscription model is so fantastic on the business side of things. The annual thing is so fantastic on the business side of things. At the same time, it's a lot of things that are unnecessarily having all these technologies available. Tell me why. Why does a vacuum need a fucking Wi-Fi chip? Bluetooth. Why? Literally why? It doesn't need all that shit. Um, just Bluetooth, okay, you could argue that. But Wi-Fi, you can't argue that. And so most of the technology nowadays has all these unnecessary electronics. And why? Because it equals to a shelf life. Even, they say that solar batteries last, so long. Lithium ion batteries last so long. It lasts 10 years. That's the shelf life. But again, it's 10 years. Why isn't it lasting forever? Why is it always predetermined? They pre-sell you on the fact that this has a death cycle. And so the death cycle is on a regular battery, right? It's only 300 to 500 recharges. On a lithium battery, it's like 5,000, right? Um, and so it's like it's more and more, but the cost is more and more as well. And then we have I just came across this recently, is a nickel battery. I forgot, it's nickel something. But nickel battery, these batteries could last a lifetime, but it's not talked about, right? They could last forever. Actually, the original one that's made is still around, right? One of them, at least one of them, is still around. And so their technology is here, and it has the ability to make things last longer. But that also costs people money because it lasts longer, then you won't buy it. Like the cars, going back to that. With the cars, they made them so they need repairs. Before, it was like you do an oil change, hey, that thing's good to go. You maybe have to do the brakes once in a while. You barely, if ever, look at the suspension. You leave that alone, right? But it's like for the most part, it lasted a lifetime, right? And now it's like my wife, she had a 2014 Nissan Altima, and that lasted 150,000 miles. And if most of you are mechanically inclined, you probably understand what I'm about to say next. Well, it's the CVT transmission in these fuckers that is a problem. And because they have the CVT transmission, it equals out to they don't last as long, right? Versus we had a Honda, a '04 Honda specifically, Odyssey. And this Honda, right? It literally, the transmission was bad. It overheated a decent amount. It overheated so bad that overdrive didn't exist anymore, right? So it's a 4 speed with an overdrive, so 5 speed ish. And so overdrive wouldn't work anymore. That's how hot it was. And because overdrive wasn't working, then it was like, okay, this is a problem. But mind you, I pulled the fluid out. I mean, the fluid is dirty, but it's relatively clean. And what I had to do with that car to keep it alive is like every month or so, really not a month because I didn't keep up with it like that. But I would change out the fluids um, every month or two, and so that let it survive way longer. 25,000 miles is what more is what it survived. And the only reason why it died is because I got into an accident, and that accident killed the car. But it didn't even kill it because it drove on the tow truck by itself. So, how is this vehicle that is seemingly crash wrecked? At the same time, the transmission's been bad for like 25,000 miles, really, and that bitch is still going. I would literally every time I drove that thing, and I would drive it not modestly, it would be at least for like 4 to 6 hours. And so I would drive it, and as I'm driving it, I already know like that the temp would reach. I mean, it reached past this, right? It would constantly be at a 263 plus. I've seen 271. I've seen 80s. Um, but that thing still chugged along. Nothing ever changed with it. It still worked as it should. Meanwhile, when it came with the Ultima, oh, that thing, it was slipping like a motherfucker. You had to really keep it under 2000 or 2000 ish RPMs in order for it to actually drive, or else it would just keep slipping, right? So it had to be driven differently. But the Honda, hey, I just beat the fuck out of that thing. That's it. Just beat the fuck out of it, call it a day, keep it going, right? And so most of the times is what what people don't realize is that we've left that place of building quality pieces of work, if you will, and now we're stuck in the membership, right? Even I'm stuck in the membership stuff, right? I pay for ChatGPT monthly. Of course, cell phones are monthly. You got insurances, you got so many different things that are just on a monthly basis, and that was the plan because they groomed you with the electric bill, with the water bill. And it's like, okay, well, if the electric bill, the water bill in your house is monthly, well, why not make monthly subscriptions? It's easier to pay, $10 a month than $120. It's easier to pay, $100 a month versus $1,000, 1200. Also, by the way, my name is Manuel Velasco. In case you guys didn't know, I talk a lot about stuff that I've learned and stuff that I see in my life. And with that being said, I'm on a mission to help 7,200 people learn everything I know so that they can each help another 7,200 people do the same, from mindset to business and beyond. So right now we're talking about they don't make it like they used to. And it's true. And that's with everything, even this laptop, right? So this laptop, I can't even show you it, right? But I can show you my other laptop over here. And so the reason why I got the laptop is because through the research, actually, I could show you the other laptop, but through the research, right? Um, I saw I was looking at laptops. I was in the laptop field. I do have a MacBook that got hacked, unfortunately, and I lost 5 years of data. But so the reason why I got that is because it has the ability to be upgraded, so it's not obsolete. I could change out the screen. I could change out the RAM. I could change out. I could upgrade the battery, so I can make that last longer, be even better than what it is. This laptop that I'm on, they make it so that you can't work on it. Even back in the day, I used to repair phones, and so I bought not. I mean, I guess I paid $5,000 to learn how to repair phones, and then let's say the cost was really two grand to learn how to repair phones because I bought a bunch of phones. Anyways, the reason why I bought all these phones, it was maxed at a 11 Pro, because after that Apple made it so that you had to have a specific machine in order to be able to repair their phones. So now they're making repairs difficult. I want you to notice something as well. I love Elon Musk because I seen his rise, and like seeing how he came from humble beginnings to where he is now is an incredible story. And also, we're similar in a way. I'll just leave it like that because I won't give you the details. But if you do a little bit of research and look at what he's got going on, there's one thing that matches him and me together. Anyways, Tesla doesn't have, there's no, um, every manufacturer, every dealership or brand, Ford, Honda, Toyota, Chevy, you name it, they need to, like, there's a legal law of some sort that says that they have to ensure that they allow the public to repair their own vehicles. So they have to sell parts. Well, when it comes to Tesla, they don't have to worry about that. That's not in their realm. That's not something they're concerned about. So literally, when something breaks, you have to go to Tesla because it's very rare. There's a few shops here in between that have parts and stuff. They buy wrecked Teslas, pull the good parts, and then they use that to fix your car. Right? There's some places, some shops, not many though. And then, of course, with the amount of cars to shop ratio, it's like infinite disparity. And so you're forced to go to Tesla. And then Tesla turns around like, oh, because this little fitting broke. Yeah, that's going to cost you 20 grand. Huh? What you mean? 20 grand just for the fitting? Yeah, it's a coolant fitting, but it broke. So we go have to replace the whole battery because they only come as a unit. There's no repair for that except replacing the battery. Well, then you go have to swallow that 20K pill. It is what it is. And unfortunately, that's I've seen that a lot with a lot of electric vehicles or hybrids or whatever, where the cost to fix them gets out of hand. Like there was a invoice from Chevy, which I could show you guys, but we'll fix that up for next time. Um, but it's like if you look up on Facebook and you type in maybe mechanic invoices and you scroll through them a little bit, you'll begin to see like, oh shit, to repair this guy's car was what? $26,000? What you mean? And that's because electrical battery of some sort, right? And so they don't make them like they used to, but they sure will charge out the ass and make sure your pockets are empty. And so that's why you gotta be careful of what you're purchasing. I'm literally, even be, this screen is happening because of something specific because it was a Windows machine, and I gotta just do something in the BIOS. But that's an old PC. Remember, I just showed you the Lenovo laptop. That's a Lenovo too. I'm all about buying stuff that has the ability, like that's actually really robust. Unfortunately, my wife and my kids have dropped that laptop a couple of times, and that laptop didn't care, didn't give a shit about it, which is fantastic for me. At the same time, it's kind of rough. I would rather not, right? But at the same time, that's how robust that thing is built. It's built in a way that it's hard. It's not indestructible now, but it definitely could take a beating. Well, these consumer laptops, they're not built that way to take a beating, right? And then even so, that is a T480 laptop. Well, the T490 laptop, they soldered everything to the motherboard, so now you cannot even take things off and flip them. So again, they are getting rid of the ability to repair your stuff. Right now, we're in a RAM crisis, if you will, and so RAM used to be, I mean, relatively compared to it is now cheap as fuck. And now RAM prices are out the woosah. And so that makes me wonder, okay, what is going to happen to these people who repair these devices? They're looking to like get rid of them because they're a problem for what they got going on. Because if you could find a repaired used laptop refurbished, right? You're like, okay, I'll grab that versus grabbing a new laptop. Why? Because refurbished, let's say it's 400 bucks. Well, buying this new Mac, well, that's 800, 900 bucks. Grabbing like a all souped up Mac, that's 2600 bucks. I could soup up this Lenovo probably, and even the prices on that went up. So I bought that for 200 bucks. The price on that now is 250 bucks. So as you can see, as prices raise on other things, and it's literally the RAM prices are going up because of businesses buying RAM out the ass because of AI and stuff. Um, but it's like that's affecting across the board, right? It's going to make the consumer prices more expensive. It's going to make the prices for somebody to repair it more expensive. And so when the prices rise for somebody else, they got to pass along that cost to the consumer automatically, or else, they're screwed. So that's why literally they don't make it like they used to, because if like this laptop is from 2018, I want to say, when it was brand new. It's 2025 and that thing is still running flawlessly, right? It only has 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's nothing like too crazy, right? um, but that could be upgraded to 64 or 32, right? The storage could be upgraded from I think it's 256 gigabytes to 2 terabytes very easily, right? And so all these different things are very easy to do on that one. But best believe on this specific Mac or even on the newer models of 490 plus, they got rid of that. Why? Because that's a 7-year old laptop. They want you to buy a laptop every year, like the iPhone, ideally. But at the very least, buy within 5 years. But now if I could upgrade that, that shit's gonna last another 7 years probably. And I won't have to touch it. I have another Lenovo, but it was a consumer grade Lenovo. And it was like 200 bucks. Same price. And so I pay for that. That thing, it's a Google Chrome, Lenovo specifically. That thing runs like shit. I'll tell you what, it's been 3 years, and off of maybe year one, year two, it was already like super slow. And again, all those things are soldered to the hard drive, to the motherboard. So you can't upgrade it, right? So it has to just stay at that form. And even when you try to um, go ahead and put different software OS on their operating system, you can't because Google blocks you. And so there's ways around it now. But again, you can't simply do it. So if it's not as easy as plug and play for a consumer, they just go dump it and get something else. But that's the habits that they got us into. Is that, oh, the new iPhone comes out. Every software update, it makes your iPhone more obsolete. So of course they want you to do all the updates because number one, it's like if you're not up to date, then there's security flaws that you could be affected by. Number two, it's like now we get to add the security update and we get to slow down your device. It's a 2-for-1 special. And so that's why I say they don't make them like they used to, especially with like Android. I was a big Android fan back in the day because you could swap the battery out, right? When they stopped that, which was around the seven, that was really on the S7 or the S8 was the one that had, um, they got rid of that. And so again, nobody cares about that because they thought the hot swap was irrelevant. Most people, but the hot swap is so efficient. It's like shit. My battery died. Foo, 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 foo. Turn it on. Boom, 100% in an instant, right? And so they again, because it's like you won't switch phones anymore. If you have the capability to be like, all right, the battery is running is shitty now. I gotta change this out. Well, you change it very easily. You just take the back off. It's like a remote, right? But now they made it complicated. You need all these different devices in order to remove that stuff. And so they make it so that it doesn't last. Because eventually, all these batteries, the more and more we charge them back up, the more and more they become weaker, the less they do. And so, because of that, we have to upgrade, right? Or we have to go ahead and go to the repairman. But then the repairman says, hey, for this battery swap, it's going to be 150 bucks. I could put that as a down payment on the new phone and just get that. That's the thinking. So, again, with all that being said, they do not make stuff like they used to. Back in the day, I would argue that the quality of stuff that we were getting was way more high quality than it is now. Now, it's built for failure, basically. And so, what are some items? Leave it in the comments below. What are some items that you've realized that, wow, this shit is really ass? And if in the kitchen, same thing. Um, sofas, same thing. It's like the quality has gone down, but the money has always gone up. Remember that. And I'll see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time to talk about something similar or something different. Who knows? Stay tuned to find out. Peace.